name is Welcome to the Bearer of Bad News. I'm your host, Lore Bear, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, so I won't. This is your weekly recap of positive news stories from around the world. Articles included in this broadcast were originally published from March 8th to 14th, 2026. The stories in this episode are sourced from various news outlets and publications. The Bearer of Bad News does not conduct independent fact-checking or verification of these stories. Listeners are encouraged to review original sources for accuracy and complete context. We are not responsible for the accuracy or content of third-party reporting. Which is a fancy way of saying, I read it, I didn't report it. And here are this week's stories. In environment and conservation, bearded vultures make a comeback in French Alps after 70-year abscess. From the BBC.com, one of the most successful wildlife comeback stories, the Alps lost its vultures, then it got them back. In the autumn of 2025, wildlife experts in the French Alps made a surprising discovery. A frail, weakened, bearded vulture found lying on the ground turned out to be Balthazar, a bird released under a conservation program in 1988, who had vanished from observations. Having been presumed dead at over 37 years old, he is in fact the oldest bearded vulture ever to have been recorded in the wild. Over his long life, Balthazar witnessed the return of his own species to alpine skies and cliffs, as bearded vultures have soared back from local extinction. Bearded vultures are majestic cliff-nesting birds with wingspans of 2.5 meters, 8.2 feet, or more, about the size of a flying door. Their diet is one of their many intriguing features. They are thought to be the only animal that is ossivorous, meaning they mainly feed on bones. The Spanish name for bearded vulture, quebrantahuesos, bone breaker, in fact hints at the complex acrobatics this diet involves. The birds scavenge bones from carcasses, then drop them onto rocks from a great height to smash them into smaller pieces. They often have favorite bone-breaking sites, known as ossuaries, close to their nests. These bone-smashing birds used to roam the mountains of southern Europe, but were hunted into extinction in the Alps and were last seen there in the early 1900s, surviving only as tiny wild populations in some other areas of Europe. Beginning in 1986, however, and over a number of decades, conservationists released a total of over 260 bearded vultures bred in captivity into the alpine regions of Austria, Italy, Switzerland, France, and Germany. Balthazar was among those early releases in the 1980s and fathered the first chick raised in the wild in the Alps, after the species had been absent for decades. Today, bearded vultures are successfully breeding and raising chicks in the wild again. In 2025, the wild population of bearded vultures in the Alps passed 100 breeding pairs for the first time to a total of 118. The population is self-sustaining. You can follow some of their awe-inspiring tracked journeys across wild valleys, ridges, and rivers on several maps. It's a very successful story, a very beautiful story, says Jose Tavares, the director of the Vulture Conservation Foundation, one of the main organizations behind the reintroduction program. It's a huge success, demonstrating that when there is will and a little bit of funding and a little bit of political support, we can actually reverse the loss of biodiversity and achieve fantastic results, Tavares says. Up next, Indonesia becomes first Asian country to ban elephant rides. From plantbasednews.org, Indonesia just banned elephant rides in zoos nationwide. Indonesia has banned elephant rides in zoos nationwide. The Indonesian Ministry of Forestry has decided to ban elephant riding at all zoos and conservation centers. Animal welfare organizations welcomed the news and described it as a historic step for elephants in Southeast Asia. Indonesia's Ministry of Forestry's Directorate General of Natural Resources and Ecosystem Conservation formally ended the riding of captive elephants late last year, and the government warned that failure to comply would result in revoked permits. According to World Animal Protection, Bali's Mason Elephant Park halted elephant rides at the end of January after receiving multiple warnings. It was one of the last venues in the country to still offer elephant rides and is now reportedly transitioning to ethical observation-based experiences instead. We congratulate the Indonesian government on taking this world-leading step to safeguarding the dignity of wild animals, said Suzanne Milthorpe, the head of campaigns for World Animal Protection, ANZ. The ending of elephant rides in Indonesia sends a strong signal to the wider tourism industry that we're entering a new chapter in more responsible wildlife tourism. She continued, "This wonderful win for elephants comes after years of tireless advocacy and on-the-ground engagement. Elephants are sentient, sensitive, and generally viewed as one of the most intelligent non-human animals on the planet. A 2001 study found that they can craft and use tools and have a volume of cerebral cortex available for cognitive processing that exceeds that of any primate species. While a more recent study from 2024 found that elephants invent and call each other names, just like humans do. Animal welfare experts and scientists alike recognize elephant riding as harmful, as it often involves painful and stressful training, restricts natural behavior, and causes long-term physical and psychological damage. Elephants have been known to attack and even kill their keepers, particularly after experiencing long-term abuse. As noted by Chris Lewis, the captivity research and policy manager at Born Free, elephants are also not designed to carry heavy loads on their backs. As with horses, the consistent weight of human riders can cause elephants chronic pain, abrasions, and sores, open wounds, vertebral damage, and muscle degeneration. Indonesia's decision reflects growing public awareness that animal welfare matters, with many tourists seeking to engage in ethical wildlife tourism, wrote Lewis. We call on tourism operators, policymakers, and the public to support this transition and reject harmful practices that exploit wildlife across the globe. He added, Born Free strongly advises people not to ride elephants or to participate in other close contact activities with elephants or other wild animals. And lastly, Kazakhstan plants tens of thousands of trees to restore tiger habitat. From livescience.com, Kazakhstan plants tens of thousands of trees in giant effort to reintroduce tigers. Kazakhstan planted 37,000 seedlings and cuttings in South Balkhash last year to prepare for the return of its tigers, which disappeared more than 70 years ago. Tigers will soon roam Kazakhstan for the first time in over 70 years as conservationists undertake a gargantuan effort to restore part of their lost habitat. The last of Kazakhstan's Caspian tigers disappeared in the late 1940s after years of hunting, habitat loss, and declines in prey numbers. Now, the Central Asian country has an ambitious plan to reintroduce the world's largest cats to their historic lands. So far, 2 captive tigers, a male and a female, are already in Kazakhstan as part of a breeding and release project. While the country is expecting its first wild tigers to be transported from Russia in the first half of 2026. However, for the program to be a success, the tigers need plenty of spaces to live. That's where an enormous tree planting project comes in. Last year, the Kazakhstan Tiger Reintroduction Program, led by the government of Kazakhstan with support from the World Wildlife Fund and the United Nations Development Program, planted 37,000 seedlings and cuttings near a giant lake in southeast Kazakhstan, South Balkhash region, where tigers used to live, according to World Wildlife Fund Central Asia. This adds to the 50,000 seedlings planted between 2021 and 2024. Tree planting is a key part of Kazakhstan's massive ongoing green initiative. The country has planted around 1.4 billion trees since 2021, and officials say they are on track to reach 2 billion trees by 2027. In South Balkhash, newly planted trees serve as a foundation for recovering ecosystems that sit alongside already forested lands. The trees provide shelter and water access, as well as food for the tiger's prey, hoofed animals, ungulates like boar and Burkara deer, also called Bactrian deer. Already, wild ungulates have been seen foraging on the restored sites, indicating that the ecosystem is beginning to function. A spokesperson for the World Wildlife Fund Central Asia told Live Science in an email, "Each planted seedling is therefore a direct contribution to the future of the tiger in Kazakhstan." The planting zone encompasses around 2.5 miles, 4 kilometers, of shoreline along Lake Balkash, which covers roughly 6,500 square miles, 17,000 square kilometers, and is the largest lake in Central Asia and the 15th largest lake in the world. The new vegetation, which includes 30,000 narrowleaf oleaster seedlings, 5,000 willow cuttings, and 2,000 turanga poplar seedlings, creates growing islands of forest that regulate the flow of water to stabilize floods and overflows. World Wildlife Fund Central Asia attributes the increase in planting in 2025 to the accumulated experience of the staff, as well as to the factors like improved planting techniques and expanded partnerships. However, the pace of the ecosystem's recovery and its suitability for tigers will depend on a variety of factors, including the climate stability of water resources and growth of vegetation. That ends our environment and conversation and environment and conversation news. Hey, I can say words. Moving on to community and human interest, we have South Philadelphia woman shows kindness to package thief. From yahoo.com. I remember that site. Yahoo. Oh wait, I can't finish the thing. Copyright. Philadelphia woman stops package thief with kindness. You're better than that. A South Philadelphia woman stepped in with empathy rather than anger when she spotted someone trying to steal a neighbor's package. Bernadette Williams quickly turned a tense moment into an unexpected act of kindness on Friday. Williams said she reacted instinctively when she saw the woman reaching for the package. In doorbell camera video, Williams can be heard calling out, "Put that down! Put that down!" Then she acts with compassion, offering the only money she had in her pocket. "I'll give you some money. Here's $7. Here's $7, she said in the recording. Williams said she wanted to help rather than escalate the situation. I said, "She's in trouble. How can I make a bad situation better? You have to be a part of the solution," she said. Williams offered the woman encouragement as well. "You're better than that. Get some help. You're better than that. I love you. God loves you," she told her. The woman responded with a quiet, "Thank you." Williams said she could see remorse in the woman's expression. Her eyes of "I'm sorry," and that was in her heart, and that's what I read. "And I hope that she will be fine, and I have faith that she will be fine," she said. Resident of the neighborhood for decades, Williams said she acted out of a sense of responsibility to her community. Let's hope that all Philadelphians would say we are a part of our community and we can make our community better, she said. In the video, this would be thief can be faintly heard apologizing. William hopes the interaction left a lasting impact. And next we have Paris Hilton launches $1 million fund for women-owned businesses after natural disasters. From our good friends at goodgoodgood.co, we have Paris Hilton is raising $1 million to give grants to women who lost their businesses due to natural disasters. Paris Hilton just announced a national grant fund for women-owned small businesses rebuilding after natural disasters. Back in Business Recovery Fund is a collaboration between Hilton's social impact organization, 1111 Media Impact, and GoFundMe's nonprofit, ARM, and aims to raise and deploy over $1 million to women entrepreneurs. Hilton will back the fundraiser as the lead investor, contributing $350,000 through 1111 Media Impact, and GoFundMe will also contribute an additional $100,000, all with the goal of providing direct, flexible recovery capital to women who own small businesses and have been impacted by future disasters. This isn't the first time Hilton has done this. In fact, the Back in Business Recovery Fund is built on a proven model which Hilton and her impact partners coordinated after the 2025 Los Angeles wildfires. During this time, over $1 million in cash grants was distributed to 50 women-owned small businesses. These grants addressed essential recovery needs like rent, payroll, equipment replacement, and rebuilding costs that women entrepreneurs faced. Hundreds of applicants also received free mentorship and technical assistance through the Pasadena Women's Business Center. Of all the businesses assisted through the program, 92% of them are back in operation a year later. It's shown that direct capital really does make a difference, and that Hilton and her partners can scale the plan nationwide. When the wildfires devastated Los Angeles, being able to support the women in my community inspired me to think bigger. Hilton said in a statement, "Their strength and determination reminded me why women-owned businesses matter so much. They are the heart of our communities and oftentimes have the hardest time recovering." The Back in Business Recovery Fund has also been highlighted through Hilton's storytelling initiatives, which spotlight businesses that were supported in LA and will continue to do so each time grants are issued in response to a disaster. The series, which is available to watch on YouTube, follows founders across industries as they share their recovery journeys from an early childhood education center to food trucks, florists, and an artisan card company. The series shows the tangible impact of the grant funding. The Back in Business Recovery Fund is about giving women entrepreneurs the resources they need when an unexpected disaster strikes. When women are funded, they outperform. So I'm proud to help women-owned small businesses across the country rebuild, thrive, and continue leading in their communities. The newest Back in Business grant fundraiser was launched in the morning of March 9th with over $480,000 already raised between 1111 Media, Impact, GoFundMe, and other charitable partners. I want to know if that's $30,000 raised because they already had the 450, or if that's 480 more. Who knows? Somebody needs to look it up and comment, I guess. According to a press release, the money that is raised through this fund will be deployed through rapid response partnerships with local women's business centers following a federally or state-declared disasters. The goal is to help stabilize communities and help business owners rebuild in times of strife, all while retaining employees and continue to support their local economies. When women entrepreneurs lose their businesses to disaster, they risk losing their livelihoods, their independence, and years of hard work, Amanda Brown-Lyerman, GoFundMe.org executive director, said in a statement. Through our partnership with 1111 Media Impact and the Pasadena Women's Business Center, we are able to quickly deliver meaningful grants to women devastated by the LA wildfires so they could reopen their doors and rebuild. The model we built proved both effective and scalable, and we are committed to expanding it to support women entrepreneurs facing future disasters. To celebrate Back in Business and spotlight women-led economic recovery nationwide, Hilton will be in New York City to ring in New York Stock Exchange closing bell on March 9th, alongside Gloria Steinem, Ursula Burns, Amanda Nguyen, and women-owned small businesses that were supported after the 2025 wildfires. As an entrepreneur, I know how much it takes to build something from the ground up. Real recovery doesn't happen in a news cycle. It happens day by day, brick by brick, heart to heart, Hilton said in a trailer for the Back in Business series. That's why I'm committed to this journey with you for the long haul. And up next, we have Olivia Rodrigo wins Amplifier Award for Reproductive Justice and Girls' Education Activism. From Variety.com, Olivia Rodrigo wins Universal and Reverb's Amplifier Award for Positive Change. Singer-songwriter and three-time Grammy winner Olivia Rodrigo became the fourth recipient of the Universal Music Group X Reverb Amplifier Award, recognizing her outstanding commitment to driving positive change through her music, platform, and direct engagement with fans. According to the announcement, Rodrigo supports multiple charities largely through Fund for Good organization and has donated more than $2 million to organizations promoting reproductive rights and girls' education and preventing gender-based violence. She used her recent Guts World Tour to promote many of these initiatives. The award was presented at UMG's Musical is Universal showcase during Grammy weekend by UMG Chairman CEO Lucian Grange. Co-founders and co-executive producers of Reverb, a leading organization driving environmental sustainability across the music industry and amplifying social and environmental nonprofit campaigns through the cultural power of music. In partnership with hundreds of artists, the organization has raised more than $26 million for environmental and social causes. Receiving the UMG X Reverb Amplifier Award is an incredible honor, and I'm deeply grateful to everyone who made this moment possible. Solution, Universal Music Group's Global Impact Team, John Janik, and the team at Interscope. This award is an important reminder in the belief that artists can be a force for real, lasting change, said Rodrigo. Music has always been about more than sound. It's about connection, it's about telling the truth, and it's about showing up for one another, especially when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Now, more than ever, in Minneapolis and around the world, our platforms, no matter the size, can amplify more than our own voices. Olivia represents the very best of what this award stands for, the courage to turn influence into action, said Susan Mazzo, Chief Impact Officer, Executive VP, Universal Music Group. She leads with an authenticity that resonates far beyond the music, inspiring a generation to move with purpose. It's an honor to recognize her as our Amplifier Award recipient. When we started this work in 2004, sustainability and social activism in music were the exception, not the expectation, said Reverb Sullivan. With this fourth Amplifier Award, we're seeing how that's changing. Olivia Rodrigo reflects that shift in how artists are bringing other facets of who they are to the forefront, and her work is ensuring that an equitable and just future for women and girls is possible. Reverb was founded in 2024 by environmentalist Lauren Sullivan and Guster frontman Adam Gardner, and over the years has partnered with festivals, venues, industry leaders, and hundreds of artists across all genres, including Billie Eilish, inaugural winner of the Amplifier Award, Dave Matthews Band, Lorde, Dead and Company, Tyler Childers, Tame Impala, Jack Johnson, and many more. Together with Reverb, those artists have greened thousands of concerts, eliminated millions of single-use plastic bottles, mobilized 8.5 million fan actions for nonprofits, and brought large-scale clean energy solutions to live music. And next we have Pints and Ponytails, pubs teaching dads to braid their daughters' hair. From our good friends at thegoodgoodgood.co, Pints and Ponytails teaches dads how to braid their daughters' hair over beers at the pub. A new video is taking the internet by storm. On March 8th, the TikTok account Secret Life of Dads posted a video captioned 35 dads in a pub learning to braid their daughter's hair. In the video, roughly 36 fathers sit around at a long table at the Lucky Saints pub in London, England for a Pints and Ponytails event. With beers in hand and a mannequin head in front of them, a hairstylist from Braid Maidens leads them all in a hair braiding tutorial for their daughters. Less than 3 weeks ago, we sat in this very space at the Lucky Saint Beer Pub with 10 other dads, and last night, 35 dads walked through the door. The Secret Life of Dads posted on Instagram. Most of them came alone, but all were there for the same reason, to learn how to do their daughter's hair. What followed was one of the most special evenings we've ever been a part of. In less than 24 hours, the video went viral on Instagram Reels and TikTok, accruing over 15 million views between the two platforms. Crying because I just saw this TikTok, a user posted on Threads. Love this, a TikTok user said. This needs to be nationwide. This is what generational healing looks like, a person commented on Instagram. Another user called it a room full of green flags. This event was hosted by Secret Life of Dads podcasters Matthew Lewis Carter and Lawrence Price. This is only the second time that we've hosted this event, and a lot of you doing it alone as well. Not knowing who you'd be meeting, it takes a lot of guts and courage, Price said to the group of dads. So it's a testament to you as dads for wanting to be here to learn a new skill, to create a deeper connection with your daughter, Lewis Carter added. And lastly, in community and human interest, we have San Antonio paints rainbow sidewalks after pride crosswalks were banned. From our good friends, thegoodgoodgood.co, we have Texas banned pride crosswalks, so San Antonio painted the sidewalks rainbow instead. In October 2025, following pressure from United States Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, Texas Governor Greg Abbott ordered cities across the state to remove LGBTQ plus pride crosswalks and other road markings that advance political agendas and ideologies. Abbott cited safety concerns and violation of state and federal guidelines as reasons to evoke the measure, which required cities to comply within 30 days or risk losing transportation funding. Most Texas cities complied quickly, though San Antonio and Austin attempted to receive exemptions from the removal, but both were unsuccessful, according to the Texas Tribune. So, like other cities across the country, local officials in San Antonio have come up with a creative solution, moving displays from roadway crosswalks to sidewalks instead. In January, San Antonio road crews removed the original rainbow crosswalks, which sat at an intersection on North Main Avenue and Evergreen Street and had been in place since 2017. San Antonio District 1 City Council member Sue Carr helped propose a new sidewalk plan with the city's LGBTQ plus advisory board, and it was painted on just a few days later. Though we're sad to see the removal of the rainbow crosswalk, we're excited to show y'all what's coming next for Main Street, Carr wrote in a statement. This design included input from the LGBTQ plus advisory board, which will help to ensure that the Pride Cultural Heritage District is still a vital, inclusive space for our city. The sidewalk displays were able to be installed without a city council vote due to the area's Cultural Heritage District designation, according to the Texas Tribune. I want to make sure that our community knows while our asphalt may be regulated by the state, our sidewalks are not. And so the sidewalks are under city purview, and we want them to represent our city's value, Carr told the Texas Tribune. Some other city council members disagreed with sidewalk painting, objecting to the use of public works funds for the project. District 10 council member Mark White and District 9 council member Misty Spears released a joint statement claiming the project would cost $170,000 in taxpayer dollars and that it should be used on other infrastructure needs instead. Other local officials have noted that the former Rainbow Crosswalks were a community-driven project with volunteers and area businesses managing the maintenance so as not to put a burden on city taxpayers. Spears argued that the removal of the crosswalks was purely a matter of safety and not intended to target San Antonio or the LGBTQ plus community, according to the San Antonio report. Still, proponents of the new sidewalk display say the majority of San Antonians want to see public displays that support LGBTQ plus community members. District 2 Council member Jalen McKee Rodriguez responded to his colleague's statement. As a starting point, I join the majority of San Antonians who do not care what the D9 and D10 council members have to say about the sidewalks, McKee Rodriguez said. From the beginning, this was never about traffic safety. Data shows that this intersection was safer after the installation of the crosswalks. This has always been about bigotry and the state choosing time and time again to attack the LGBT plus community. I hoped to make the city complicit in it. McKee Rodriguez added that taxpayer funds were used to remove the original crosswalks, which, again, had no tax burden on city residents until Governor Abbott called for their removal. Taxpayers wouldn't be paying anything if Greg Abbott didn't force us to rip up and replace a perfectly good intersection, McKee Rodriguez said. Misty and Mark can direct their frustrations to his office if they're so concerned. But in the meantime, the new colorful sidewalks do not violate any local regulations, and Carr and McKee Rodriguez hope they signal an ongoing commitment to LGBTQ plus pride in San Antonio. By installing rainbows on the sidewalk, we are abiding by all regulations while demonstrating even greater and more permanent visible support to the LGBTQ plus community, McKee Rodriguez said, and I appreciate the majority of my colleagues' support in this effort. James Poindexter, Secretary and Parade Director of Pride San Antonio, was hoping the city would have been more committed to keeping the original crosswalks, but told KSAT that the sidewalk alternative is great. We're all for enhancements to the neighborhood, Poindexter said. That's what the dream was all along. But I think that this is a time for this city to show what they have and really stand up and fight for this. All right. And lastly, we have in sports and Olympics news, Jake Adikoff becomes first openly gay man to win individual gold at Paralympics. From Outsports.com, gay skier Jake Adikoff wins Paralympic gold, makes Winter Games history. The 1.5 kilometer sprint was the least favored of the four events in Jake Adikoff's target of multiple gold medals at the Milan Winter Olympics. Despite that, the Team USA skier, guided by Peter Walter, finished strongly to seal a convincing victory in the Tesoro Cross Country Stadium on Tuesday over his closest rival, China's Shuang Yu. Now a four-time Paralympian, Adikoff has won his first individual gold medal to go alongside the U.S. mixed relay triumph that he was part of at Beijing 2022. It also means that he has made Team LGBTQ history as the first male athlete to win an individual Winter Paralympics title while being publicly out as gay. The 30-year-old is only just getting started, however, he will aim for a relay repeat on Saturday, with that race sandwiched between middle distance and long distance vision impaired events, in which he has already won silver medals at previous Paralympic Games. Before the action began in Milan, Adikoff had told Outsports he felt more confident and was operating at a different level compared to 4 years ago. That was evident right from the get-go on Tuesday morning, with the Idahoan clocking the third fastest qualifying time before then cinching the top spot in his seminal heat. In the final, Adikoff started in the second wave, which meant that he trailed the initial leader by 20 seconds. However, he showed explosive speed to reel in the others and then seized control during the grueling final ascent, charging towards the finish line to secure goal by a margin of 1.5 seconds over Yu. Sweden's Sebastian Moden claimed bronze. Jake Avadikov says being out as gay is super important to him. Avadikov's vision impairment stems from his mother contracting chickenpox during her pregnancy. He's completely blind in one eye and has significant scarring in the center of the retina of his other eye, which obscures his central field of vision. To compensate and gain a complete view of the racecourse while navigating at high speeds, Avadikov uses a distinct side-to-side head motion to piece together his surroundings. Having stepped away from skiing briefly after Pyeongchang 2018, he returned with a renewed sense of purpose, tapping into new levels of fitness. His build-up to Beijing was disrupted by events, but since 2023, Avadikov has been a fixture on the podium, racking up 20 FIS World Cup medals, 15 of which were gold. This sustained dominance earned him the top spot on the FIS points list for vision-impaired skiers, a position he has held firmly for the last 2 years. Between the 2 editions of the Paralympic Games, he has also become the more visible as part of Team LGBTQ and is the only member of Team USA to be sponsored by the Out Athlete Fund. Going to the Paralympics, being a gay athlete there, showing that it's possible to reach this upper echelon of sport as an out athlete and as a para-athlete, that's super important to me, he added in his Out Sports interview. Avadikov's raised profile and popularity are also evidenced by the caliber of those wanting to interview him. He even sat down with none other than Bugs Bunny for a chat on the WB Kids YouTube channel. 12-year-old me is super jealous because Space Jam was the super jealous. At the finish line, he raised the U.S. flag with Vultures, who is 3 years younger. They first teamed up competitively as paraskier and guide in the fall of 2024 and have become even firmer friends, building an intuitive bond. Vultures acts as Avadikov's eyes on the course, ensuring the skier's power is translated into forward momentum. I love cross-country skiing, but very few people love cross-country skiing as much as Jake Avadikov, Vultures told I on Sun Valley. He loves training, he loves racing, he has a deep, deep passion for the sport, and he has a strong mentality that can push through the hard sessions. The duo will be together again for Sunday's 20-kilometer event, with Reed Goebel serving as Avadikov's guide for the 10-kilometer classic on Wednesday and the mixed relay on Sunday. There's plenty more gold for them still to chase before these Winter Paralympics conclude. And that is the end of this week's articles. Hopefully they have added a little positive joy to your life. Before we end, I have our final segment of the show, something I like to call a tale of 2 paragraphs. In this segment, I take the first and last paragraph from an article on Substack or another similar source and read them to you, to encourage you to go read the article yourself. Many people forget the power of the written word to move us and how intriguing the middle of the story is. The less I read, the better. But people often want to know how we got to endings more than the endings themselves. And maybe then you will go exploring the Substack and read the paragraphs in between. This week's article is from Substack entitled Politically Queer, Socially Heterosexual, and comes from Cat Black. I think to some degree, I've always struggled with being defied. Contrary to popular belief, I didn't throw the first brick at Stonewall. Historically, I've been more like the quiet wife of one of the policemen who participated in the raid. I spent my 20s trying to fade away into the background, and seeing that as a sign of ultimate personal success, I suppose for that reason, I feel very odd existing in the way I do, where it seems to be disruptive of me to say that while I may be politically queer, I'm quite socially heterosexual. Some paragraphs in between, and then an ending of, as I get older, I recognize more and more that I have so much capacity for growth, that with each year I learn something new about myself that shifts me in a more genuine direction. Maybe my feelings around this will change one day, but for now, it seems pretty truthful of me to say that while I may be politically queer, I'm still very socially heterosexual. Maybe that'll change one day, maybe it won't. To hear more from the postmodern princess, Cat Black, check out her Substack, Black in the City, at catblack.substack.com. We hope you enjoyed our show, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, so I won't. Have a good day.